Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the ATA program today for our CLC Connection. My name is Ashley Roseborough. I am the program manager and today's moderator for the event. We'll be diving into a great conversation with our honored guests about a career in arts, audio, visual technology, and communications. And I will be introducing them momentarily. But before we get started, I did want to cover a few housekeeping items as we go into our dialogue. This is an opportunity for all of our viewers, whether you're online or in person with us, to engage and ask our guests many questions. To do so, please utilize the chat box for your questions and commentary, and we will ask your questions out loud and answer them during the event. Additionally, this event is being recorded and will be made available to you later to rewatch and share with your peers. So without further ado, let's get into it. Today, we are joined by Ms. Elizabeth Liz Campbell. She is a social media specialist for the Harris County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, acronyms HCO, HSEM. So if I say that, that's what I mean. In 2015, Liz interned with the HCO, HSEM communications team while completing her Bachelor's of Arts in Rhetorical Communication from UHD. She later rejoined the team in 2018 as a communication support planner while completing her Master's of Arts in Strategic Communication and Graduate Certificate in Advanced Digital and Social Media from Texas Tech. In 2019, she began her first full-time role as a community liaison for HCO, HSEM, and then was promoted to social media specialist in 2019. Liz is responsible for the content production and social engagement for over 119,000 combined followers on all Ready Harris social platforms. She has responded to several regional emergencies in the Harris County Regional Joint Information Center, such as the ITC Deer Park fire, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the recent 2021 winter storm, where she served as the communications recovery lead. Welcome, Ms. Campbell. How are you doing today?
Thanks, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, Good to be back on your old stomping grounds.
It was weird walking into the door and I was like, this is so familiar.
Okay.
It was nuts.
It was nuts. So we always ask our UHD alumni when they come back to campus, what have you noticed that's changed? So what's something you've noticed that's changed since you've been here?
Oh my gosh, so much. It seems like there's so much construction in here right now. And I think one of the things that was unveiled right when I had left was that student center off the cafeteria over there.
Yes.
And so that was brand new right when I had left. So I haven't got to experience that. I might swing through there on my way out.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's grown.
Yes.
Wildly. Isn't there a... No.
Was there a Taco Bell?
What?
Okay. So the consensus is there was a Smoothie King once upon a time and a Taco Bell here.
Smoothie King?
Yes.
Where was it?
In the cafeteria.
So that's how we kind of gauge
how old I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
We do age you. We kind of like inadvertently age them.
Yeah. Ow.
Well, it's good to have you back. It's good to see that, since you've been here, UHD has grown and you get to see, your labor from the work you've been doing as a UHD alumni. So we're happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. And before we get started in our questions, I do have two icebreaker questions for you.
Okay.
So if you could be any animal, any insect.
This wasn't on my preparation list.
Any insect, what would it be and why? Think about an insect that you saw, like, you look nice, I'll let you live today. Or an insect, you was like, you know what, I might want to smash you like a roach. Whichever one floats your boat, just let us know which insect would you be.
I don't know. I think I'd be a cockroach.
Oh, okay.
They survive, right? And then they run away.
Adaptable.
Yeah, I'm adaptable. I like that.
I've never looked at a roach in a positive light like this, but they are resilient things. They are very resilient. So shout out to, the raid not working, I guess. And if you could be in any other profession other than the one you are in now, what would it be and why?
I honestly think I would go back to one of the first jobs that I had, which was bartending. I started bartending at 18.
Okay.
And I love it. And I didn't realize how much that bartending had prepared me for my current career.
Wow.
It's all about communication. It's about talking to people. It's about selling things. It's about building those relationships with people so that they give you some extra tips. And yeah, I would go back to bartending.
Okay, favorite drink that
So-
you would like to make?
Oh, see, I think I like a Moscow Mule or a
Okay.
mojito, get the mint in there.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And we'll dive into a little bit more, maybe not the bartending life, but a lot about how the overlaps of you communicating customer service, especially through social media. We'll dive into that in our
Great.
conversation today. All right, so as a UHD alumni, please share with us your educational background of who you are and what inspired you to journey into a career of communication in social media.
Yeah, so I started my academic career here at the University of Houston downtown, kind of on accident. So I applied here just because it was close to home. You know, I grew up on the outskirts of the Heights, pretty close. And so I thought it would be a good idea. And I actually ended up getting an academic scholarship here, which was phenomenal. And that's how I ended up here. I actually had a lot of friends. They're like, oh, you're going to UHD. Isn't that a 2-year school? Isn't that this? Isn't that that? You know, they were very uneducated on it. And so I got to come to this school and have an amazing academic career. And they were all like, oh, so it's a real school. And so it's unfortunate, but that happens. But anyway, so I did that here. And then I waited a year and tried to get a job in communication. And at that point, the market it was a little tight. And so I wasn't able to get a job. And so I went ahead and decided to get my master's degree. And I did it all online through Texas Tech University in strategic communication. And I was able to stay here in Houston and keep a job and continue working toward those communication career goals.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in addition to, while I was here at UHD, I actually had 3 internships. I know we only talked about one with Harris County Emergency Management. That was my first one, which I got by complete accident. I went to an internship there and handed my resume to every single table. Didn't even look at the names. Just every single person gave my resume to them, and they called me back for an interview, and then I got my internship there. And that internship led to an internship with community affairs at ABC 13, which was phenomenal. And that opened up other doors. And then I got a corporate internship with Amegy Bank.
Okay.
And that was not my favorite. It was very uptight and corporate, but it helped me figure out what I did want to do and what I did not want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. How did you know that UHD was the school for you? How did you know? When did that click for you?
Yeah, so aside from the academic scholarship part, which was just such a blessing, I took a class. I don't know if he's still here. Is Dr. Rubicek still here?
I believe that's a familiar name.
Anybody?
Maybe.
I think he's here. But anyway, I had one of his classes my first semester, and he was phenomenal. He is such an amazing professor. If y'all have an opportunity to take one of his classes, I highly recommend it. He has such a passion for communication and storytelling. And so being able to hear him and his excitement about all of that made me excited about it. And then I knew that I was at the right school. And so I took as many of his classes as I could.
Awesome, awesome. Well, shout out to Dr. Rubicek for impacting lives and getting students interested in communication.
Yeah.
Because that's something we do every day, all the time, but we don't have the most positive lens about pursuing communication as a degree. So as you pursued communications, rhetorical communications and strategic communications, what's the difference?
I think the rhetorical side of it definitely focused a lot more on speeches and presentations. And with the strategic side of it, that very much was marketing and digital, and making sure that you're where you need to be at the right time, which is a lot about social media. You know, you have to hop on trends. You have to know what people are talking about. You have to know what hashtags are hot. And so that's definitely the main difference. Captivating an audience in person and online are totally different.
Yes. So let's get into it. What does a day in the office look like for you as a social media specialist?
Yeah, so I get into the office, I hop on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, see if there was any questions from the Harris County residents overnight, see if I had missed anything. Social media never sleeps, but I need to every once in a while. So
yes.
yeah. And so those questions do build up sometimes. So I go ahead and take care of that first. And then I look at what are we talking about for the month. So today is actually the end of hurricane season. Thank God. Yes. So I went into work today and I knew that I had to post about the end of hurricane season and what that means. It means you have to still be prepared, even though it's not hurricane season, but it's over. So, take that little sigh of relief. So yeah, we look at what we're doing for the day, and we're also talking about holiday safety, being prepared for Christmas, house fires, shopping safety, all of those things. And then I start looking ahead, especially during the holidays. Right now, it's really important to look ahead and see what we need for January and February, especially as a lot of staff members are taking time off. We have a lot of overtime that we kind of accumulate during emergencies. And so we have to burn that time down. And yeah.
Any more trips for you?
Not for the year,
Okay,
no.
cool.
No, I actually closed on a house this morning.
Woo!
Thank you.
You get excited about homeowning.
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
It's been a nightmare, but I'm so happy it's over. Yeah, so I'll be taking some time off to kind of deal with that.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
exciting.
Yeah.
The nightmare is over. Enjoy the home. Why social media? What gravitated you to a career in communications through social media? Because social media is a lot nowadays. And there's so many different messages that we can receive, and how to utilize it. Like you said, social media never sleeps. So what about social media just drew you into that particular industry?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's because of my age and how I grew up with social media. I think I had a MySpace page when I was like 13 or 14.
Okay.
And then, when I got into high school, that's when Instagram started becoming popular. And so I guess I just grew up with that social media. And I was like, how can I turn that into a career? I like to do it. I want to post cool pictures. I want to make, little funny graphics here and there. And yeah.
Okay. So is your social media aesthetically appealing?
My personal social
Yes.
media? Oh, no.
Just for work.
No.
Just for work.
Yes. I mean, listen, COVID was tough, really, really tough. With COVID, you could never get a break from it. We were constantly on social media posting updates about masks and, vaccine centers, social distancing, and it never stopped. We were in the office 7 days a week for 12 hours a day for about 2 months. It was very tough. And so the last thing I wanted to do when I got home was get on my phone and look at Facebook.
Absolutely. And that's honest. That's honest.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I've started getting into TikTok here and there. And so that's been fun. But otherwise, my social media is not aesthetic. It's, not great iPhone pictures from everywhere, but that's totally fine.
It's yours and you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you enjoy about TikTok? Are you into the dances? Or you do the quick morning affirmations, the positive energy? What's your TikTok vibe?
I like the funny stuff.
Okay.
So I will go through the day and like videos. And as soon as my husband gets home, I'm like, hey, I need you to watch all of these videos that I've just liked. So that he thinks they're funny too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just like the quick funny ones.
Good.
I need everyone to not go look at TikTok. I had a TikTok go viral this year.
Hey.
Yeah, it was such an accident. My husband's little sister is 21 years old, and I was making a funny video. It was like her and one other person following my account, and I was like, oh, she'll think this is funny, so I posted it, and it got 2 million likes.
Wow.
Yeah, 9.5 million views.
Wow.
It was nuts.
So now that you've dropped it to us, you have to share it with
Yeah,
us.
that's what I'm
Yeah, so we can go like it and laugh. And
We all can follow Reddy Harris on TikTok. I'm working on that TikTok account. That's something that's been a little bit difficult, trying to navigate emergency management with funny videos and COVID with funny videos. It's very tough balance.
Yeah,
But I'm working on it.
absolutely.
So we'll see.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's meeting people where they're at now with social media and especially TikTok. You can get a
100%.
lot of information, good information out to the masses as long as it's presented in a way that's truthful and it's presentable. So congratulations on that new venture.
Thanks. Yeah. TikTok is definitely a way to reach a lot of the younger population, which I don't think emergency management or safety appeals to that age demographic.
Yeah,
And so that's something we're really trying to break into, and how to get that information closer to them.
absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned something about working during the beginning of the pandemic. 12 hours a day for 2 months straight. How has taking care of your mental health been? How important has taking care of your mental health been since the pandemic started?
Oh, incredibly important. With our team, we all were in the same boat. You know, we were working all of these long hours, and a lot of the time we had to see all of these negative comments on social media, but people don't understand that, you know, all of our families are in the same boat. You know, we have the same exact things going on. And so that was incredibly tough. And our team understood that. And so we were working within close quarters for those 12 hours a day. And if, you know, someone stood up and was like, hey, I need 20 minutes, I'm going to go outside. Great. You know, go do what you need to do. Take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, your job doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It's completely secondary.
Absolutely.
It's that same thing that I struggled with though with social media. You know, it never slept. And so I had made a pretty strict schedule for myself. I understood that I needed to work from, you know, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then, you know, just make sure no one was dying between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Essentially make sure there are no major emergencies. And then my phone was off. If I didn't get a phone call, it's fine. It's not important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, those boundaries are so incredibly important.
Absolutely. And what else do you do to navigate your work-life balance?
I think it goes back to just those boundaries, making sure you have somewhat of a schedule for yourself, dedicate time to the things that you know you like to do. And for me, maybe that's just taking a 20-minute walk every day, or I don't really enjoy reading, but I'll listen to music or, you know, watch a YouTube video, just something that completely disconnects me from my work phone.
Absolutely.
If I need to leave it in the car for an hour, fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Favorite genre of music?
Oh, I'm into like 70s,
Okay.
I guess. Some Earth, Wind and Fire, BB King.
Some funk.
Yeah.
Okay. You get funky. Nice. Nice. This is just a side question. Favorite song you've listened to in the past month?
Oh, are there that many new songs right now?
It could be a 70s song.
Oh, okay.
You know, September was just a few months ago. You know?
I know.
You listened to it all September. Earth, Wind and Fire.
Maybe I Wish by Stevie Wonder.
Ooh.
That's been my jam lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get down. Groovy. Well, we're going to keep the conversation going. For our viewers, whether you're in person or online, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat, raise your hand, ask them out loud. We'll repeat them so our online audience can hear, but we would just want this opportunity to ask as many questions to our guest speaker, Miss Liz, as much as possible. So if y'all can do that, I appreciate it, and we'll keep this thing rolling. So what have you noticed in your experience as a student here at UHD? What are some skills juniors and seniors in college now can develop as they are preparing for their career in this field?
The biggest one I can say is relationship building. That's something I really wish I would have focused on more when I was in college here. You know, making those relationships with your professors, you know, sending those emails after you graduate, keeping in contact with them, because you never know what they can help you do later in your career. It's just incredibly important. Especially in my internships, I really wish I would have taken more time to, you know, say, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's go grab a coffee. And those relationships are so important going into your career, into the job field, what connections they can have that could benefit you in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. How does that look? What does that look like for you now as a full-time in your career, doing the things in social media and emergency management? How do you continue to build relationships now while you're in your career?
Absolutely. It's tough. It's definitely a lot more fast-paced than it used to be. So, I mean, I may have 5 minutes to say hi and bye to somebody, and I'm not great with names. So anytime I meet somebody new that I know I'll see again in the future, I whip out my phone and I write their name down in a note, where I met them, what job they have. And it's just kind of a helpful tool to remember them later on.
That's a great tip. That's a very great tip.
It's real. I have so many notes in my phone.
Just a list of names.
Yeah. It's probably not great to keep a list of names in your phone. Now that I think about it, but
we know the intention, so
yes.
it's all good. May have to start doing that with students, because we see students all the time, and you know, being online for a year and a half, and then we finally meet these students in person. It's like, hey Ash, hey Andrew. It's just like, hey.
I know.
So glad to see you. Face to the name, please. And then they tell us our names, and it just, there's so many faces you come in contact with and you see. That's a great tip.
How's it going?
Right, you just make it friendly, and then this is them, this is there, and you keep it going.
Right.
So I love that. I love that tip.
Yeah, it's important, people want to say, hey, how are your kids doing? How's your wife?
Yes.
How's your mom? I heard she was in the hospital. And it's important to have those kind of personal relationships with boundaries,
Mhm.
but to have them there.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is the second time you've mentioned boundaries. So I want to circle to that because boundaries are important. How did you come to figure out what boundaries to put in place in your professional life?
With work-life balance again?
With just being in the office space with people, you said talking about conversations, asking about family, but being within people's boundaries. How do you go to develop those boundaries?
Yeah, I kind of look at it like, what would I say to my grandma? Right? You're not going to ask your grandmother intrusive questions. You're not going to ask her things aggressively or inappropriately. That's a big one. With my job, it's kind of tough. We are a really weird, dysfunctional family. We are with each other sometimes days at a time. We sleep under our desks during activations. We shower at the office. We see people in their pajamas at times.
Wow.
And so those boundaries are a little weird sometimes for our office, especially, but it's important to keep your head about you at times and make sure that you're not overstepping your boundaries or theirs. You don't our boundaries could not be the same. And so it's important to kind of step lightly until you really get to know somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. Describe 3 things that have been most important to you in choosing a career.
Vacation time. And I know that sounds, I don't know how that sounds. Maybe not good.
You work for it. It sounds fine.
Exactly.
It sounds fine.
Yeah, it's so important to me. I love to travel and go do things. I work to do experiences. I want to, that's how I decompress. That's what I want to do with my time and money. And so I make sure that a company or an organization has a good vacation policy before I would get into their company. Yeah, it's so important. I'm kind of losing my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, vacation is super important to me. And that goes again into that work-life balance. Another thing that's important is growth opportunities. I hate being stagnant in a career. If I don't feel like there's forward progression or anywhere for me to move forward, it's time to go.
Yes.
And if you don't have a supervisor or someone that's offering you those trainings, willing to mentor you, willing to coach you, I don't think that's a good environment to be in. And so that's also really important. And you should definitely do something that you at least have somewhat of an interest in. I hated working at Amagi, and I say that with all the love in my heart. That corporate environment wasn't for me.
Yes.
And that helped me realize that so quickly. I knew that I didn't want to be in an environment that was too stuffy. I don't want to wear a blazer every day. And so I knew that is something I did not want to do. But then with my other internships at ABC 13, I was in their community affairs department, and I absolutely loved all of the outreach opportunities that I got to do. And so I know that in my job, I want that to be at least a piece of it. I want to be able to have those outreach opportunities, get into the community, teach the community about something. And so that's what I make sure is in my jobs.
Absolutely. I like that. You're focusing, it sounds like you're focusing on the whole self, vacation, your mental overall well-being, your growth opportunities while your professional career, and then just giving back to the community. Those are 3 very important things. And I thank you for sharing that. You were a part of some pretty state of emergency events this past year. Can you talk about, as much as possible, what it was like working with different parties of information? We had, the mayor, we had the mayor's office, we had legislation and everything. So how do you manage the different pieces of information and the different parties that you're working with when you're sharing out information?
So that's a really good question. So during a state of emergency, I work in the Harris County Regional Joint Information Center. And essentially, we are a hub for amplification. We do not make any of our own information and push it out. We take all of our information from partner agencies, and then we distribute it to the public in either, easier to understand terms or just on a wider basis because maybe their audiences aren't as big. And so taking all of that information in, it's a lot sometimes, especially if you get conflicting information when you're on social media and you see false information. We've had to make several fake news posts before, or, false information posts because that misinformation will get out there no matter what you do. Can you circle back to the question?
No, you're good. And what about the different people? Do you work with different, I know you said a third
Yes,
party.
there we go.
with
Thank you.
People.
So we work very closely with all of the Harris County agencies. We work closely with the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office, Harris County Public Health, the City of Houston, which, the Houston Mayor, which is they have their own emergency management department. We work with Harris County Pollution Control, which was really important during industrial incidents. It's so many people, but during an emergency, we have a representative from every single one of those agencies in our emergency operations center. And so if y'all haven't been, I highly recommend it. That's definitely an opportunity to set up a tour, or like y'all can come by and visit and I'll show you around. Like I would love to do that. It's
We'll circle back to that next semester.
yeah.
That'll be-
It's incredibly interesting, and we can fit up to, I think,
Field trip?
yeah, let's do it. We can
Field trip.
We can fit up to about 98 people in there, and every
That's
single
nice
desk
size.
is filled with a different agency. And so
Wow.
depending on the emergency, that depends who's in the room. So for Harvey, for example, we had HEB was in there, Target was in there, the Coast Guard, all of these different agencies that could potentially play a hand in helping the community.
Awesome. Because that was my follow-up question. Like what role does HEB and Target play, but helping the community, getting these resources out to them and everything. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of pieces.
It
A
is,
lot of
it is. I'm very
pieces.
fortunate though. So when we're activated, there's the Emergency Operations Center with those 98 people, and there's the Regional Joint Information Center with about 10 people, and I'm with those 10 people.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different, but yeah, they're all there to help the community set up water distribution or get electricity back on. High water rescue people are in there at times. That's what the Coast Guard is in there for as well.
Awesome. You took on a leadership role during the winter storm. Can you talk to us about your experience leading that the community communications recovery piece, and just share your experience with us about that.
Yeah, the winter storm was terrible for everybody. We were stuck in the office for 4 days. We slept under our, I took a couple naps under my desk during that time. And that's when I think it was the toughest for us. We were getting so many comments on social media about issues with electricity, with no water, with all of these things. Like our families are in the exact same situation. We're all at work, our kids are at home, our husbands, whoever. Anyway, so that was my spiel on that. But afterward, when we did the recovery piece, that was something that was a little bit new to me. I had touched recovery before, but I led the communication recovery. There's a lot of letters in my job.
There's a lot of letters.
Oh, recovery support function, that's what it is. And so I led that. And so I was tasked with meeting with the leads of the other groups and the community resource organizations in Harris County. And so we had, Baker Ripley at the table, Houston Arts Alliance, Houston Food Bank. My job was to get with all of them and see what they were doing and how we can make their message bigger through our organization. So we were able to help connect people with resources for food, water, shelter, reliable plumbers at the time because of all the broken pipes.
Yeah.
And so my job was to essentially get all of this information, see what everybody was doing, and then relay that information to my team and see how we can help. How can we amplify that message through social media, through press releases, through alerts?
That's a lot of information coming in. So how do you organize it? I bet your organizing skills are top tier.
Yeah, let's go back to my phone and all the notes. Every time I have, 50 notebooks, and each notebook is assigned to a different project, I guess. I have a lot of notes in my phone. I don't love a spreadsheet. but I love handwritten, spider charts.
Yes, yes, yeah. I like that. Awesome. Do we have any questions in the audience? What's up, Adrielle?
Really briefly, as far as Houston Arts Alliance, what message were they trying to convey out to the public during the February crisis? Because you mentioned the Art Alliance.
Yes.
I wanted to repeat the question
Oh,
for
go
our
ahead.
online audience. So the Arts Alliance, the messages they were conveying during the winter storm, what were those messages?
Yeah, so we were working with Lauren. She's there. I think she's their comms director over there. The Houston Arts Alliance was offering services to help people restore art that maybe had gotten damaged through the
Okay.
bursted pipes.
Wow.
And then I don't remember if it was COVID or maybe COVID and the winter storm. They had created funds to help struggling artists through this time.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much.
Are those
Yeah.
funds still available?
They might be. I would check out the Houston Arts Alliance website.
Yeah.
I am not sure, but I know they're constantly looking for new ways to help artists in the community, especially since COVID is still ongoing.
Yes. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
The more you know, that's truly incredible. Miss Virginia?
Okay, we had a question about organization, and you immediately went to, I just go to my phone. So my question is, what's your backup if something happens to your phone?
Backup if something happens to your phone when organizing.
Yeah, so something I tend to do every morning when I get in the office is I make a priority list. And so, I mean, if my phone's dead, we'll see. But if I get into the office and I have a sticky notepad and I write down the priority list of what I need to get done for the day. And so if something happens to my phone, I have that list right there, at least for the day, and then we'll have to figure it out after that. I say that that's just personally for me. With the office, we have emergency plans that are on backup and backup and backup and backup. I'm not going to go that far for my list. I also have a whiteboard in my office where I keep track of all of my projects. So I have at least, 3 places where I keep what I'm working on, just to make sure, I can always go back to at least one of them, hopefully.
Okay, so just to piggyback off of that, because you work out in the field, right?
Sometimes.
Okay. Let's say you don't carry your whiteboard with you, but let's say your phone accidentally gets left underneath of a bag of oranges or something. In all kinds of places.
Because you need oranges.
Yeah, you need oranges, but you don't know that because you talk to so many people, you deal with so many different organizations. I'm just plucking your brain for organizational skills because I'm building businesses.
Yeah.
So what would you do?
Just in case
Yeah.
Murphy's Law happens, what do you do when things just go haywire? You don't have your phone, you don't have your whiteboard. How do you stay on top of organization?
Yeah. So yeah, those are the 3 things. Another thing is Google Drive. You can access that from anywhere. That's definitely a big way that the team and I keep connected, especially if we need to transfer photos or videos or presentations. We all have access to that single Google Drive. And so if something happens to my phone, I can run to my coworker, hey, can I see your phone? I need to get to the Google Drive real quick. And he can print me off a sheet or, yeah, Google Drive's a really great resource. Anything cloud-based, you can access it from anywhere, 100%.
That was my question. Writing, you do a lot of writing with the post and writing articles and everything. How do you make sure that you're on top of the grammar and the punctuation?
Oh man, spell check is amazing. Just in case anyone's wondering, InDesign on Adobe does not have spell check, so be careful when you're using that, because I've messed up a few times. So for me, when I was growing up, a lot of my grammar and punctuation was focused on MLA format. And I have no idea why, but as soon as I got into college and into the professional world, everything is APA. I do a lot of Googling. I'd like to look at the Purdue OWL. There's books you can get. I'm not gonna go through the books. So I just use the online platform. But yeah, those websites are incredibly important. Always get a second set of eyes. From a supervisor or a coworker, be like, hey, can you just give it a quick once over? And it could be just a comma, but it's helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you touched on InDesign, which is a software. What other software applications do you use in your role?
So I only touch on a lot of the applications. We're very fortunate enough in our office to have me, who's the social media coordinator, and another person who's the digital media coordinator.
Okay.
And so he does the majority of the the Adobe and InDesign and Photoshop and video editor.
Okay.
But I have touched on those, not a lot.
Okay.
But I know how to use Adobe Premiere and a little bit of Photoshop, and Canva is an amazing resource.
Yes, yes.
Do you have a favorite Instagram filter? Then?
Oh, no,
Okay.
no filters.
No filters, just straight normal?
Yeah.
Got you. Awesome. Awesome. As you spoke to relationship building as a skill to develop for juniors and seniors in college, what are some strengths students should have in pursuing a career in social media marketing and communications?
Have the opportunity to do an interview well. Take the opportunity to learn how to do an interview well. I know that I don't know if there's still a class here for that, but there was when I was here, and I didn't get the opportunity to take it because it was so full,
Wow.
which is phenomenal. You can always do a Toastmasters class, or honestly, just speak with someone who's in communication or a supervisor, and have them do a mock interview with you and say, afterward, how can I improve? What's something I said that didn't sound right, or what's something I could have said better?
Those are great questions to ask. And for our students here, the Career Development Center is right around the corner. They do mock interviews. Did not know we had a class here. That is definitely something to look into if it's available. But the Career Development Center will get y'all squared away on preparing for these mock interviews, for preparing for a real interview, so that you go into the interviews and interview well, because those interviews will get you into the door for your career. So thank you for mentioning that. And, if y'all can't look into that class, I'm going to look into it. I think that's a wonderful opportunity for students to have, because not everybody has the time to go to the Career Development Center, but you'll go to class if it's on your schedule. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for that. Going to keep this rolling. In your experience, what are some challenges you have experienced yourself or witnessed in your career field, and how did you overcome them?
Challenges. I think the biggest challenge is the work-life balance again. Just as we've talked about, social media doesn't sleep, it never stops. People are always going to be angry on social media, have something to say that they're not going to say to you or someone else in person. And the separation of work and home has been the biggest struggle, but it's something that I have to continuously work on, make sure I stick to those schedules, make sure I know to cut off my phone at a certain point and take time for myself and go take a walk. Even if it's in the middle of the day, we have a track outside of our office. And I mean, it's not fancy. But I can take 10 minutes and go walk around the track and maybe call a friend and be like, hey, I'm just, I'm tired. What are you doing? Cheer me up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cheer me up.
I mean, it's true.
I like how you put that. Cheer me up. So this facility is huge. You have a track, you have showers. You can make a cot underneath your desk.
It's not as big as you think.
So you said it was on Washington?
Yeah, it's off of I-10 in Washington. Do you all know where the SPCA is? It's right across the street. It's in the Houston TransStar building.
Okay. Awesome. And this is the big hub where all the the directors come into for the emergencies. Okay, awesome.
Yes, that is the Emergency Operations Center. That's on our 3rd floor. That's about half of the 3rd floor.
Wow.
And y'all can come visit.
We will. Don't worry.
Please.
We will. It's everything's walking distance from here, so it's nothing but a bike ride because we have bikes now on the trail. That's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
As what impact do you want to have in this role?
Impact.
When you walk away from being a social media specialist for Harris County's Emergency and Homeland Security Office, what do you want people to know? What do you want? What the impact you want people to have from the work that you've done?
Yeah, the biggest impact for me is knowing that I'm helping keep people safe. It's, we get hundreds of mean comments on a post, and it's just that one where it's like, thank you so much for this information. You have, helped me get a resource. You helped me get my family food, get my family water.
Yes.
Those are the toughest times, especially during the winter storm. We had people who unfortunately passed away due to carbon monoxide poisoning, whether that be using a stove in your home or keeping the car on in the garage. And that was horrific. Knowing that I had an opportunity to reach, thousands and thousands of people by saying, hey, let's not do these things. Keep your family safe by not doing XYZ. And knowing that I could have potentially saved someone's life or helped them make a smarter decision is the only impact that I really want to leave here.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's good impact, truthful
Yeah.
information. Because especially when we're in the middle of a crisis or chaos is around us, we sometimes forget to think about the basic things,
Mhm.
or we just don't know the basic things when we're trying to survive and make it through. So having that information and correct information at our hands is so important. Like you said, it could save a life.
Mhm.
So I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Outside of the work-life balance and the fake news and truthful information, how has COVID-19 impacted your job or the field?
Oh, man. I mean, it's just completely changed it. We used to go from activations where, we have 200 people in the building. And during COVID, that wasn't possible. And so we had maybe 60. And so, during COVID, we were on split shifts, right? So we did half the office worked from the office for a week, half the office was home, and then we flipped every other week. And that was a little bit tough in terms of coordinating communication with people. Instead of popping down to someone's office, I had to call them and hope that they would answer because they're not, helping homeschool their child or, taking care of other things at home, which is totally fine. We were all there doing it.
Yes.
But, that presented a lot of challenges. And so that was really difficult. And so I think as the time has gone on, our supervisors have realized that we are effective still working from home. I can do a load of laundry while I'm monitoring social media or on a phone call.
Absolutely.
And they can both be effective.
Absolutely.
And so moving forward, they have realized that, and they know that, I can still work from home with a sick kid on the couch, and it's totally fine. I mean, you'll have to have those boundaries and be honest on your timesheet, but I don't think that's ever been an issue.
Okay, awesome. And are y'all still doing swap schedules now, or in person completely now, or?
We are, yeah. Everyone's 100% back.
Okay.
We've done, obviously you can still work from home if there's those incidents. Like we have a couple of people who in the office who are expecting kids. And so, keeping them away from everyone just to keep them more safe has been what we've been doing. It's just kind of on an as needed basis.
Awesome. Perfect. What are some organizations to learn more about strategic communication through social media?
Yeah. So specifically for my job, there's an organization called Government Social Media, and it's online. I'm pretty sure everyone can join. They're actually having their conference here in Texas this year in Dallas, 2022. It's either February or March 2022. And so they've asked for people to be like representatives, state representatives, if you're from that state, to help out with the conference. And so I'm very fortunate enough that I've gotten to be on that committee. And so, I mean, it's an incredible organization. I highly recommend checking that out. If you are not part of the Houston Public Relations Society of America, I highly recommend that. During my master's degree, they do scholarships every year. I had no connection with them, and I applied. It's free, and I ended up getting a $1,500 scholarship to help with my graduate degree.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And so I highly recommend checking them out. Who else? Yeah, Houston PRSA is a big one. I think they do offer free or reduced membership for students, and they hold monthly meetings, which are incredible. I mean, mentor lunches and, just networking events, at a local bar.
Absolutely.
You had me at bar.
Were you mixing during the time as well?
No, I
Okay.
wish.
Awesome. As a UHD alumni, what were some things that you enjoyed while you were here?
Oh, apparently it wasn't Smoothie King. I missed that. Yeah, I missed
We
that
all
boat.
did. We all missed Smoothie King.
While I was here, I don't know if they still have it, Lambda Pi Eta, the Communications Honor Society group.
Ooh,
Anybody?
no, that is something we can.
Yeah, check that out. I'm not sure if that's still being done. I believe it was Dr. Hatfield was running that.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's still a thing, but I really enjoyed that, just getting to meet with other people in my field. And, UHG is a huge commuter school. There's not a lot of times where you're going to sit and start chatting with somebody.
Yes.
I would come to school, leave, go to my job,
Mhm.
and that's just how it was. So finding those little opportunities to talk with people are phenomenal.
And you were full-time a student and you were working.
Yes.
We working full-time.
Yes.
Oh, wow, which is very similar to a lot of our transfer students right now. Can we dive into that a little bit? Absolutely. So share with us your journey managing, juggling school life, personal life, and work life. Like, how did you do all of that?
Yeah, it's a lot. It really is a lot. I was working full time through 2 to 3 jobs, depending on the time. And once again, I have my notebook, but I kept a paper planner that had, the 24 hours written out, and I would just make blocks on there of like, I'm working at this time, I am in school at this time. And then I would look after I would lay out the week, I would look in those time slots and say, oh, you know what, here's an hour here. I'm going to read for that hour. Here's an hour here. I'm going to write for that hour, depending on, the schoolwork for that week. But yeah, just keeping a schedule and making sure that your work's done, but making sure you're getting time for you. And if you don't have time to, go to a bar for 3 hours, go take a walk for 30 minutes, go have a coffee by yourself for 20 minutes at a coffee shop while you read your book.
Some of you met with your success coach, and mapped out like the times of the day and looked at everything you're doing and then filled in the blanks, filled in those free spots for either academics or just for you. So that's create your own success plan, without having to go to a coach. So that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Outside of your Dr. Rubichek class, was there any other classes that really resonated with you that you enjoyed while you were studying?
Oh man, I can't remember her name. Dr. Shelley, she's still around? I can't remember, but she did a lot of classes on family communication. And there was a class called Sex, Love, and Romance in the Media.
Okay.
Yes, well, that was a while back.
Don't age now.
I'm just saying all of these classes in general, because I remember they used to offer sex classes as well, so you could be a sex therapist, but unfortunately that's no longer an option.
Bummer, but yeah, those classes were really interesting, even though they had kind of funny topics. They were so insightful just about family communication, how to talk to your coworkers, how to help set boundaries. And so those were really fun classes and really got me thinking about where I wanted to go in the communication world.
Absolutely. And out in Lambda Pi Eta was an organization you were a part of. Were there other student organizations that you enjoyed here that you wanted to be a part of or you were a part of at UHD?
I think that was it. Like I said, I was pretty busy, and so I didn't have
fair enough.
Yeah,
fair
I didn't
enough.
have a lot of time to kind of hang out here, but Lambda Pi Eta was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry about the construction, like you mentioned.
No.
They're always doing something on this building, but it should wrap up. I'm actually running, my list of questions are running low. So I'm going to take it to the audience, whether online or in person. Do y'all have any questions for Miss Liz that y'all want to ask? Anything commentary that you want to like for her to elaborate on? This is open conversation. Oh, Virginia.
I have a question. You said that when you were here and the classes that you were taking, it helped you to open your mind and give you an idea of where you want to go with your communications. Yes. Okay. So was that in undergrad or was that in grad school? That took place as far as you, because we're an undergrad, its first 2 years are just just steps. You got to walk up the stairs. So when did you narrow it in to you're working within social media? Because working within social media, being a social media user, that's 2 different things.
Sure.
Right? Okay. So was it in grad school that you kind of honed into what you wanted to do with your communication knowledge? Was it there?
So where did you begin to hone in on social media communication? Was that in undergrad or was that in grad school when you completed your master's in social strategic communication?
Yeah, so it started here. I knew that when I started taking the comms classes here, I knew that I wanted to go into some sort of public communication, not necessarily like internal or HR communications or medical. And then, so I graduated here with the rhetorical communication degree, which I think is just mass comm now. And then I guess the social media and digital did come in the graduate degree time. So when I was looking for a graduate degree, I knew I wanted something online so I could stay here, you know, whether that be at U of H or just anywhere in the state really. So I got in-state tuition. The program I did at Texas Tech was strategic communication. And if you did a certain number of classes, there were different certificates that you could earn. And one of the options was digital and social media. And so I was like, you know what, that's it, that's the one. And so then that's how I officially took that on, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Can you elaborate your journey in grad school as you studied that? Because you talked about undergrad and different things you like, which has us very excited. So how was it over on that side, especially since you narrowed in what you wanted to study? So were you just as enthusiastic, excited with the professors, just as interesting, your classmates, were they kind of like, were you all like on a core? Yes, you see smiles, but that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Go ahead, take it, Ashley.
No.
You
You good. So we're going to dive into your grad school journey. You studied strategic communication, but you were able to get, based off the tracks that you, the courses that you took, you were able to get a digital and social media graduate certificate. So can you share with us your grad school journey from beginning to the end?
I'll do my best.
Okay. Let's go.
So in grad school, I did my graduate degree in a year. They recommended doing 2.5 years, and I wasn't about to sit through school for another 2 years. So I did my graduate degree in the year of 2018, started in January, ended in December. So it was very fast paced. In terms of teachers and students, I really didn't have a ton of personal interaction. The one thing I can say is the advisor I had for my graduate degree was incredible. I mean, she was so helpful. She laid it out for me. She said, you know, this is going to be hard, but this is what you need to do. And I said, all right, great, let's do it. And so the most impactful person, honestly, for me was the advisor over there. And she wanted nothing but for people to succeed in this program. And so I knew I had made a really good decision at that point. But in terms of communicating with students and teachers, it was a little bit hard because we really were all over the state of Texas. All the teachers were in Lubbock at Texas Tech, but all of these students like were Houston, you know, McAllen, just literally all over the state and some in different parts of the country. So there really wasn't a lot of camaraderie there. In terms of classes, there were some interesting ones. I'm trying to remember the names. I feel like it was after COVID, everything's 10 years ago.
Everybody has brain fog.
I know.
I hope someone studies that brain fog of everybody who's lived through this pandemic, but that's neither here nor there.
I know.
Sorry.
It's true though. You know, the things that I really did enjoy studying were strategic marketing and market planning. I liked that a lot. It really taught me, obviously, you know, the books are, for digital communication, the books are always outdated almost immediately as soon as they're printed because there's something new that's happened. But, you know, learning that, I guess it's the marketing piece because I didn't really study marketing in undergrad. That was really interesting to me, learning about different ad placements or how to do a wireframe for a website, which I never thought I would know how to do. That was also very interesting.
A year. What was that? 3-4 classes a semester?
Yes, I think it was 4 each semester and then 4 over the summer.
While working full time?
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, I was actually part-time at my current job as their part-time support planner. And then I think I was like babysitting or bartending as well. Yeah, to be honest, I don't have a ton of memory from graduate school.
You didn't sleep much. Right?
Yeah, so the memory from then.
Okay.
I wish I could elaborate more for you on that.
No.
Do you use all of the things you learned in grad school? Like you just named a couple of things about something framed. Thank you. Yes. Do you use all of those things now that you're in your field and you're rocking and rolling and we need you, depend on you?
Do you use your skills from your grad program, the information, the knowledge that you gain from that?
I would say about 50% of it.
Okay.
And I think that's just because once you get into the communication field, you kind of have a more narrow scope of what you actually do. And so I'm pretty sure in my graduate degree, I wrote press releases, right, for a class.
Cool.
And I don't write press releases now. I very seldomly do, but it's not one of my main jobs. My job is social media and taking pictures and videos every now and again. And so I think if you're looking for a more broad scope thing, you shouldn't go for like I went for a more narrow degree, I guess, with getting the certificate within my master's degree for social media and digital media. If I wouldn't have done that, I could have taken additional classes to kind of broaden my scope, which I think I should have done.
Mhm.
Because now I wish I would have paid more attention to writing those press releases, because that's something that does come up every now and again. Or, you know, doing that wireframe, which I don't do a lot now. I wish I would have had a little more time to look at that, because people in communications, you know, you typically go into more narrow field, but then everyone expects you to know how to do all of those other things. But I feel like, well, in my own perspective, if I don't need it, I kind of lose it in my brain. Use it or lose it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. To elaborate on that, as a social media specialist, right, what would you recommend to someone who is not social media savvy, or someone who is looking to start a business or businesses? What would be the top 3 things about social media that you will recommend to them to learn?
Social media for those who are not social media savvy and those who are building their business on social media, because that is its whole
Yeah.
CLC in itself. But what are 3 things you would recommend as you're building your social media platform?
Yeah, if you're not social media savvy, I definitely recommend checking out, I think it used to be lynda.com. I think it's LinkedIn Learning now.
Yes.
You can get a free 30-day trial of it, and make sure those 30 days you're not super busy. And then just sit down and really take those classes. They have a ton of Facebook marketing classes. They have classes on how to place ads, which is something we don't do a lot. And so I'm not very familiar with it, but I feel like that'd be really good for the business perspective. What else? Get involved in social media. What is it called in Houston? I think it's called Social Media Brunch or Lunch or something like that. It's an organization that it kind of fell off during COVID, but they're picking it back up now. You know, get involved with those people who are doing social media. If you have a friend, or, you know, honestly, someone's kid. Like I have a coworker who's got a 15-year-old kid, and I'm like, what are you doing right now on social media? Like, show me.
Yeah,
And that's a really good way to learn.
absolutely. Quick shameless plug. You mentioned LinkedIn Learning. All UHD students have access to LinkedIn Learning for free. While you're here, use it, please. It is game changing. Like you mentioned, you can learn anything and everything: photography, marketing, project management. There's courses for every subject of your life, really. It's a great resource, and it's absolutely free for y'all, because once you get into your career, it costs money. So use it while you can. Please use it while you can. And great questions, Virginia. We have one from our online audience, and then Adrielle, I'll get to you. Emily.
Yes.
Do you mind reading off the question from our online audience, please?
Okay. Vanessa Beleza says, hi there. I started off as a marketing major and have recently been thinking of switching back. Would you be willing to let me shadow you for a day? I'd love to get insight on what your day-to-day looks like. Thanks.
I thought that was a question, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that would be great. Yeah.
Go ahead, shoot, Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Go ahead, shoot.
Vanessa!
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll give you my contact information. I have to work it out with my supervisor to make sure what we have going on in the office that day. But that's phenomenal. I could even get you something specific that you want to learn. I can get you with that person in the office. 100%. That's something I recommend that everyone does, honestly. If there's something you want to do, reach out to that organization and see if you can shadow. That's a really scary thing to do.
Yes.
Honestly, it's like you're waiting for rejection, but you'd be surprised how many people actually want to help you do that.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Vanessa, thank you for putting yourself out there to network. Ms. Liz, thank you for being open to bringing in students into this space to get familiar with the career. And definitely we'll be following up with you on the tour, so we all can get a look at what you do and make connections from there. So great question. Adrielle.
Yes, just real quick about Lambda Pi Eta. They are still active.
Awesome.
And is it Hank Robichuk? He's still here at school.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you guys get the chance, please join Lambda Pi Eta and visit Dr. Hank Rubicek. Let them, sign up for a class. Just say thank you for being an awesome professor if you've had them before. But that just to be able to remember a professor who has
shaped why you do the work that you do is so impactful. That means they're a good educator. It's a good
Absolutely.
education. So that's exciting. Any more questions, y'all?
Yes.
Yep.
If we do, I currently don't have any questions at the moment. However, most likely there might be some in the future. How can we contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. I can give you guys, I have business cards with me if you're in the room. If not, yeah, please feel free to share my information.
Will,
Yeah,
do that.
my email will be on there and then my work phone number is on there. You can also text that. You know, I'm young, I'm hip. We can
All right.
text.
I think Alejandra, she gave us an update on, there's a ceremony for Lambda Pi Eta. Is that correct, Emily?
Yes, it's an induction ceremony on December 7th. Next year, get in touch with Elizabeth Hatfield for more details about Lambda Pi LPH. Sorry.
Thank you. And I do apologize, Alexandra. I pronounced your name wrong. I apologize for that. But thank you for sharing that information. Are you a part of the organization? Alexandra, are you a part of the organization? I think she's right. Oh, she's the president. Oh, snap. Small world, small world, small world, small world. Well, we're gonna have to get you in here sometime and talk about it. And Dr. Hatfield's here too.
Awesome.
UHD retains their professors.
Yeah,
Not to age you,
yeah, thanks.
not to age you, because you're young.
Okay, simmer down.
But
It's with love, okay?
no, but like I'm sorry, I do apologize, but it's something that like a lot of professors at UHD stay for a very long time.
That says a lot.
They retire here. So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any more questions from the audience? Okay, I have one more. What is your most proudest accomplishment thus far?
Oh. Proudest accomplishment thus far. I think it would be getting through 2020. It was it was a lot. I had started my social media career or my social media position in April of 2020. So smack at the beginning of like the tough part of the pandemic. And that's something that I had to learn how to navigate. The position that I was put into was a new position for our agency. So there wasn't guidelines on it. There wasn't, you need to do this, this, and that. It was kind of navigating to figure out what's best for me, what fits my skill set, and what will benefit the office the most. And then again, working through that work-life balance. And then actually in October, for the year of 2020, I was named the PRSA Young Professional of the Year.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you. That's another reason, get involved in PRSA, get those nominations, those awards. People love to see that on a resume. Yeah, get those scholarships, reach out to those organizations and the professionals in there. But yeah, getting through 2020 has to be it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And to circle back real quick, you finished your graduate degree in 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
And then in 2019, you were promoted to social media specialist. Was there a gap between you finishing your degree, your graduate degree, and employment?
No, not with the graduate
Okay.
degree. So when I was getting my degree, I was part-time in Harris County Emergency Management as their support planner. And then in 2019, I actually went to community liaison,
Okay,
where my full job was outreach, which I just adored. It was an amazing job.
okay.
And then in 2020 is when, I went to the social media specialist. So I've been with the organization for almost 4 years now.
Wow.
Mhm.
Whole career.
Yeah,
Whole
pretty
career
much.
thus far.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Miss Liz Campbell, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining with us today. We're gonna, so sorry.
No,
Adriel.
you're good. It just popped in my head real quick, just a fun one to end things up. If you could have dinner with anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would it be with and why?
Oh, this was also not on my prep questions.
And there are more questions like that I have. It's just I feel like they may not be as relevant to what we're discussing, but just a fun one real quick.
Dead or alive.
And why?
And wow. Why?
Pick someone that's living, that's easy.
Right. I don't know. Maybe Adele.
Awesome.
She sounds like she'd be fun and we could go have dinner in England and just hang out, talk about her career. And I think that would be fun. That's kind of random, but
No, that's awesome. Thank you.
yeah,
Did you watch her special?
not yet. Don't tell me.
I've only seen clips on social media. But that was a good one. Have you listened to her new album?
Pieces.
Okay. Any favorite song?
Not yet. I'll let you know.
Gotcha. Awesome.
I did have one more question.
What's
When
up?
did you decide to get into the field of communications and what sparked it?
I decided to get into the field of communications in high school. That's something I just knew that I was good at. You know, I had a speech class my freshman year of high school, and I lived for that class. I had so much fun. The professor or the teacher at that time, I mean, she was fine, but she had really fun, exciting assignments for us. You know, she'd be like, hey, draw a thing out of a hat and you have to talk about it for 2 minutes. And she is what, I always knew I liked it. But then when I took that class, I was like, yeah, this is it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any more questions?
All right. No, we're good. This could be outside.
Okay. So, well, the interview piece is done. Again, Ms. Liz, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to wrap up our CLC series for the fall. For all those who have attended, please complete the reflection form for your ATA requirements. Let us know what you gained from this talk. Let us know any more questions you have and suggestions for future programming. Yes, that is it. I will get y'all Mrs. Campbell's information and I'll put it in the chat for y'all. And then it will also be available on the campus group page. So all that information will be there. And we're just gonna hang out for the rest of the time. Lunch is available right now. So if you're on campus, please stop by ATA Lounge S418 to have lunch with us, to meet Ms. Campbell herself, and just to be amongst peers as we close out November. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.